Alright, so that was Kiseki III's ending, Morning Refrain sung by Yuri Suehiro. And here I am with Max here.
Yeah, and also great track, by the way. I think it's pretty nice. So welcome back to the Falcom Fancast, where your usual hosts, and
we have to do with two Frenchmen.
yeah, two Frenchmen, because unfortunately you won't get anything else right now. Also, as usual, like every time, Misty could not make it, so we apologize.
She probably won't make it anyway, so...
Yeah. And this episode is sponsored by the Falcom Racing Team. This year, they are sporting the beautiful and gorgeous Richemont livery.
On the Lexus, please. RCF for the wins.
Yeah, best car. RCF, best car.
I won't say probably best car, but it was one of the better mix to use for putting Wisha on it, in my opinion.
Fun fact, in real life, this is the best GT500 car from the Super GT Championship in Japan. This is actually the fastest one. But anyway, we're not here to talk about cars, we're here to talk about something very important this time. And if you are afraid of spoilers, I advise you to leave this video, like right now, because it's about to get serious. No, I'm joking. But yeah.
There probably will be spoilers, but I think we can avoid
as many spoilers as we can. Yeah, but you've been warned if you're afraid of, hearing anything, we cannot really confirm that we won't be saying anything important, so...
You've been spoiled the ending song anyway, so...
Yeah, to begin with, exactly, so it's not gonna be... Yeah. So, I think it's a good idea to announce what would you call it,
today's topic, I guess.
Yeah, today's topics. So we will be starting with Sentry because that's one of the most recent thing we have to say, and then move on to our, I guess.
And they also announced Zen for more like show some new stuff about it.
Yeah. I was about to say that, but so Sentry, Zen 4, and I guess our overall feeling about this arc. Like we said, I think we did tease a little bit about both of us wanting to discuss all those things. So this episode is going to be dedicated to Senno Kiseki, basically. So now that we both have finished Senno Kiseki III, where should we start?
Max just finished it.
Yeah, I just finished it. Yeah, basically I'm a huge pussy, and I kept on postposing my ending because I actually reached the ending not to, it didn't take me a long time to reach a point where I was near the ending, but then I just stopped playing and kept on pushing back the final hour because I knew what was going on, and I guess I didn't want to see the shitstorm.
Yeah, he saw the forecast and he said nope.
Yeah, I was like, when I am ready, I will play the ending. And to be honest, I was not expecting something this insane, I guess. Yeah, that's very explosive, to say the least, and sad.
Wink, explosive.
Wink, wink. But seriously, that's a big shitstorm, and without going into detail, I guess, just to keep spoilers as much as a spoiler
as much as we can,
as much as we can. Me talk good today, wow. But yeah, I guess that's what it is to be a Frenchman. But yeah, it's it's a big shitstorm, so
Yeah.
And also, like, I think we talked about this together, but when you finish Sen 2 or Trails of Cold Steel 2, you kind of expect the next game to answer things, and no, actually it's just more questions and more questions. So
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah,
But
I mean, some things got answered. I'm not saying like, but it's still. Falcom has a lot of work.
It still does advance some things, but
Not that much, I would say.
Yeah, not that much, and that's sort of what Sen 3's ending is doing. You are left out with a lot of let's say mysteries to solve.
Yeah.
You don't. And even if the game answers some stuff, it still feels like you are missing something, or it didn't advance much, even if it did answer some stuff.
Yeah, to me this game feels more like a bridge, as I said before. It doesn't feel, to me anyway, it doesn't feel like, what would you call it? I'm not saying it doesn't feel like a proper game, but it just, it builds, it doesn't build on top of what was already there. It more like adds a lot of things, and because of that you don't really have that much time to advance, I suppose. And then of course you have the huge cliffhanger like usual, because I jokingly call this series the cliffhanger simulator, but that's basically what it is.
Sort of.
Yeah, Grand Kiseki, the real cliffhanger simulator.
We'll show the bad reference. You will see it right in front of your face.
Yeah, I should edit. I'll edit everything we talk about. I'll just put some pics and, well, exactly like the last time. I think it's easier that way for the audience.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what should we say? I mean, if we want to keep as many spoilers away, it's gonna be tough. But I guess we can just talk about our feelings about the game and less about the plot, maybe.
I would say the overall feelings, because let's be clear, we really enjoyed the game.
Yeah.
It was really good. Even the graphic styles, the music production, the feeling of what you are visiting, let's say, the game's feeling, the
atmosphere,
cities,
the lore, the world. Actually, can I say that
let's not say the lore, because it's sort of the biggest problem.
Yeah. Also, actually, it's funny because when I say lore, I mean maybe more like the mix of production.
Not really the biggest problem, but the lore. The lore around mysteries, let's say, is very well made.
Yeah.
But there are some stuff that really are questionable, in my opinion.
Yeah. Also, I must say, for me, I did mention it in the last episode, but even me, like, I'm basically legally blind. I cannot see well, and I think this game is beautiful for what it is. That is the biggest, like the best production Falcom has ever made, which makes sense, right?
And even when you look at the 3D models,
they're pretty well detailed and smooth.
And also they also changed the way some 3D models look, like the size of them.
Yeah.
When you compare Laura from Sen 2 and Laura from Sen 3, she almost has the same height as the boys. She's very tall when you compare.
I need to talk about this, because what the hell, Falcom? People don't go through puberty after 19 years old. That doesn't happen. I know they wanted to make them look taller, but because they're older.
I don't think they made them taller, but
they look taller.
They look taller, but
they're
it's
not taller.
More a question of the engine of the thing.
Yeah,
because
the engine of the game's engine. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because even in the previous games, 3D models had some sort of size between them,
Yeah.
and Laura was basically a boy size.
Yeah, she is. I think she's about our size because she's like 170, 75-ish, in between, somewhere like that.
Yeah,
almost
I don't
as tall
know.
as Reen. She's almost as tall as Reen, if not just as tall. I forgot.
I think Green is like 1 meter and 80
No,
centimeters.
Ash is 180, and Reen is quite a bit shorter than Ash. I did check the character sheets, by the way, so maybe
Okay.
But yeah, so Reen should be about Lloyd's size, so I would say 175-ish, 173 maybe.
Yeah, Lloyd is 175.
Actually, it's easy because I saw Kurt's height on a character sheet, and he is 173. So Reen is a tiny bit taller than Kurt, so you can say safely that he's about Lloyd size. So 175, 174, maybe a bit shorter than Lloyd. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they're about the same size.
About the same size. Let's just say so. He's not tall, but he's not short. About our height, I would say, like real life height of Kevin and I mean.
Yeah, we're not bigger Frenchmen.
Yeah, we're not big. Actually, funnily enough, I know that in Belgium the average height is very high. I don't know if you heard of that, but it's like 190, the average for a male, and so I'm way below the average height.
I see.
But yeah, the tallest ones are the Dutch ones from the Netherlands. I think it's like all 195, something like that. But anyway, that's just a fun fact, I guess. I don't know about France, to be honest. I haven't heard of it.
I don't know either. Maybe 1 meter and 80 centimeters.
Yeah. Probably.
That's sort of the average.
Actually, funnily enough, I heard a study that was made about this, and the newer generations of kids are starting to be shorter again. So we had like a big peak in height, not me, but the other ones of my generation. Like everybody's like really tall, even females. Like I know a lot of females that like are like almost 6 foot tall, like in imperial measurements. So yeah, pretty tall. But now it's becoming short again. Anyway, that's just a fun fact. Let's go back to the game.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the 3D models looks very good, and they look more different. It's not like it's the same base for everybody. They all look like they have some sort of different body, even if some of them are looking like each other. But
yeah, they look,
when you compare, let's say, girls between them and men between them, you can see some differences between them, and
for
especially
example, to give you an example of what you're saying, I did notice if you look at Reen's torso, for example, he's pretty slim. Like he's not very tall compared to the other guys, but he's also very slim. And if you look like Eustace, for example, he's like his bust is very like thick in comparison. I did notice. Like if you look at different models, they look also larger, like not just taller but larger as well, compared to
it's the muscles.
Yeah, the muscles. Yeah, and so you can compare and see that. Yeah, they did put more details into the 3D models, which is lovely. Also, the lighting. I have to say that personally, I love what they did with the lighting. It's not too much, but you still get some nice effects when you look at the sky or. Like with the shadows, also like the shadows look great in my opinion.
And even props to some people who sort of zoomed in some pictures they made. You could even see some shiny details in clothes.
I think I see what you mean. Should I put a screenshot?
Not really. I don't think you're getting me You're getting me right now. I'm not talking about.
Oh, okay. Because since you were being vague, I was thinking you tried.
No. I was talking about the shiny details of the clothes.
Oh yeah. Okay.
There are some in some clothes. Yeah. For example, the swimsuit has them.
Mm-hmm.
but afterwards don't. But if you consider the matter of how they make swimsuits, you can sort of understand why swimsuits are shiny. And that's let's say pretty nice feature.
When you think about it, basically, when it comes to detail, to me the best way to describe it is, well, to me, I'm not an expert, but I would say that Muse's panties have more details than the building in Senno Kiseki 1 and 2.
Lol.
But yeah, like, it's incredible how Falcom... You showed me that screenshot, and I just think it's funny because you're not supposed to see it. Like, Falcom deliberately made it so you cannot really look under the skirts, but it's there and it's very, very detailed.
Yeah, and let's say that Muse's one is sort of free.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. That's just that's on another level. But yeah, aside from that, I will say though, the scale of the game.
She probably wanted us to see it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Just kidding.
I also saw other characters' ones as well. I'm sure you can guess who I looked up, but yeah.
Yep.
I saw a dark red one as well.
It's not really dark red. It's more like red, flashy red.
Yeah, it's flashy, but like it looked a bit dark to me. But maybe it was the lighting. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I have to say also that maybe not so great, but I was expecting a bigger scale personally for the fields. It didn't feel bigger than the other games, but maybe it's just my memory.
I think they are sort of bigger, but
we don't really have a lot to explore. Yeah. I would say
it's sort of closed, but even if you have more like 3 or 4 areas to visit per town, and it's more than the
towns.
One.
Yeah, the towns are a lot bigger. The towns, yeah, I have to say, but when it comes to the fields, I was expecting more. But it's not a problem though. I'm not complaining. It's just something I noticed. But aside from that, yeah, the game felt a lot like Sen 1. Would you agree?
Yeah. And I understand the reason why some people would say it's like the story didn't advance much, because it feels like we went back to Sen 1, but the characters we met are just grown up.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Like it looks like Falcom wanted to keep the school life elements. So they just introduced new characters and have Reen, like they had Reen being a teacher and all of that. I don't think it's a bad thing per se, but I'm not really 100% happy with it either. I guess that's just my opinion.
Yeah,
I think it could have been avoided.
Let's say they could have done something different and it would have been the same result, something around that.
I will say this, and I know we talked about this again because about the new characters. I love them, they're great, but they're not necessary. And I mean, 2 of them have a role, I would say, right? 2 of them have a role in the plot, but they could have been something else than a student. Like it really wasn't necessary to have them being students, and unfortunately. The 2 other, well, not 3 others, I would say 2 out of the 5 are really useless to the plot so far, even like in the entire game. Would you agree?
Sort of.
I mean, what I mean by useless is they don't really have a, what would you call it, a role in all of this. It's more like they're here. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, so sort of like they're here because let's say it looks like Elliot.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Elliot didn't have any particular reason to be here, but he was here because it has something he liked, and he ended up going indoors because he could. He could do what he really wanted, something like that.
Yeah,
Let's
he
say it
wanted
like
to
that.
find his way, and
He thought this could be a nice idea, and he found himself wrapped up in all this. So let's say some characters have a role like Elliot.
yeah, and
So
I'm not bashing the new characters. I think they're likable. There is no problem about that. I like them.
yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah. All I will say though is introducing new characters when you're 2/3 of the way in an arc is quite bold, because you're basically adding a lot of things and a lot of work, I guess, on top of what we already had. So I don't know how it's going to turn out in Sen 4, if the new characters are going to have a bigger role, or if they're going to be like, if they're going to have an arc like the original, like, you know, the main characters from original Class 7. You know what I mean? Like, they all have almost, not all of them, but most of them have an arc that continues on in Sen 3.
Yeah, sort of.
I mean, their stories continue, you know what I mean? I'm trying to keep spoilers away, so it's hard, but you know what I mean, right? So
Yeah.
Usually when Falcom adds characters to the main cast, I guess you could call it the sub-main cast, even if they're prominent on the box, you know what I mean? So you have usually an arc for each character, and yeah, we'll see how it goes on that front.
Yeah, and basically, if one character is added to the party, they get
A story, I
a
guess?
reason. Yeah, they get a backstory.
Yeah. Also, I have to say, speaking of characters, I'm so happy to see characters from Trails in the Sky coming back. That's just... I was happy to see them. And seeing crossbow characters as well. We know it's coming. And, yep. Oh, and we do have some already, like some very important ones, but we're gonna see more in Sen 4.
Yeah.
Wink, wink. I'm excited about that, but that's for the next topic. So, what could we add on top of all of that? I guess that's the raw feeling, but I guess the structure of the game, right? We talked about this as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
Like the overall pacing, the pacing and the structure, I'm not so sure.
We're not going to say it's a problem, since they sort of did the same in previous games, but let's say some story elements for the characters are a bit questionable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say some stuff for the characters. For example, Emma being a witch and Rin's only the powers. I think they're not so bad, but there are too much mystic elements like that, and to me it really detriments.
Oh yeah.
Let's say. Not the game or story, but the characters feel a bit too much sometimes. Stuff like that.
My problem with this arc, I suppose, in this case, is it feels like Falcom always needs to up themselves. So whenever they introduce something and show you something, or like, you know, we have a big cliffhanger, the next game we need something bigger, and every time they introduce some sort of myth or like supernatural element, like it seems like it's going way over the top, right? Like it's a bit too much. And also I will say that the villains, I think there's a limit to how how cheated a villain can be, if it makes any sense. Because I think it's going a little bit too far with the whole the villain thing. Yeah, I'm trying to be as vague as I can. Sorry.
Yeah, some villains sometimes are not even one or two steps ahead. They are like
50 steps ahead.
Yeah, they have 100 of miles away, way ahead the characters.
Yeah, and they like they knew everything that would happen and exactly what the outcome would be and blah blah blah. That kind of trope, which is at some point I think we need to stop. We need to stop because the problem is how is Falcom going to up themselves again in Sen 4, and also how are you going to not unfold but finish this?
Simply how are you going to how are you going to justify the fact that your heroes are able to defeat such person that can even foresee your thing, that can foresee basically even your single finger moving. He already foresaw it, so how would you defeat it?
Yeah, exactly. Plus, it's just like they make this villain like this extraordinary, powerful, and extremely intelligent, Machiavellic, whatever you want to call it. Like the guy is completely like 100%. He seems to be invincible. So when you have the cast, no matter how strong the cast is, when you basically have to deal with it at the end of the arc, I'm really curious to see how Falcom is gonna deal with this. Yeah, I'm waiting. We'll be waiting at the corner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I think that's our biggest problem with this arc, is maybe it's going a little bit too far on the.
Yeah.
A bit too explosive. Let's put it that way.
A bit too much shonen-esque too, but that's not really a problem with me. Even if shonen aren't my forte anymore, I don't really mind some elements of shonen manga stuff or shonen anime. It's just when I started thinking about it, I was saying, this sounds wrong in my book. Sort of. It's just my opinion, but I understand. I totally understand that someone could would be perfectly fine with this. But as for myself, I find it sometimes it's a bit too much, because when I look back at Sora and Zero, let's say Crossbell, stuff like this wasn't too much or too big. It was let's say very balanced in that part, and that's why in my opinion they I won't say they feel better, but
a bit more reasonable on the
in the ultra power stuff and
the power, like the what do you call it, the fantasy aspect of the games, let's call it the fantasy aspect, was not as extreme. Like that's something with Sen no Kiseki. Trails of Cold Steel is very fantasy heavy on. I mean, when I first started to play those games, I was expecting a very realistic vision in the RPG, something a little bit more down to earth. And then I finished FC and I realized, no.
Not really. But
not really.
It was balanced, because at the very beginning you had a typical setup, let's say something like that, and at the end you have some sort of mystical thing, and it's just at the end, so it has some, let's say, the surprise. But here in Sendo Kiseki, it's gun blazing, basically.
Yeah, I think in Sendo Kiseki it kind of goes crazy, like really, like it's a little bit. Exactly, yeah. Oh,
Just
man.
kidding. Props to Koki Ichiyama and Shinchi Block.
Oh yeah, props to those guys, indeed. But yeah, strike. Oh yeah, that video. Yeah, that's amazing. One thing I wanted to point out, and I'm sure it feels the same way for you, but it seems like Falcom is biting a little bit more than they can chew when it comes to like the size of the arc. Like when you see how big it is, you can really see that the games are like they had to split everything and probably cut back on stuff because the project seems to be very big, and it feels this way when you play the games.
Yeah, but I wouldn't put it like that. I would just say that you clearly see that Sen series had to be cut like that.
Yeah,
Let's say it like
when
that,
I say I bite more than they can chew, I mean more like the vision, the original vision versus what ended up happening.
Yeah. Because when you put it like that, it sounds like they shouldn't have done it that way. But basically,
no, that's not what I meant.
but basically they foresaw it, so they had to split. So it's not it didn't happen like what you were saying.
When I say that is what I mean when I say that is the arc itself was supposed to be like this very big thing, and we realized, oh crap, we need to split this because it's not gonna work. It's gonna be way too big of a game. So that's basically what I mean. So there's nothing wrong with the games themselves, but more like the structure of it all is a bit different that they probably envisioned at first. At least that's what it feels like to me, at least. But I don't have a problem with that personally. Just the only thing I have to say is I'm becoming a little bit tired of cliffhangers. So please, Falcom, in Sen 4, give us what we deserve. We want our reward for playing the games. It's about time we get like a proper ending.
I don't really mind cliffhangers.
No, but I mean, it's going to be the end of the arc, so we need, we need something to conclude the arc, obviously, like they did with SC.
Yeah.
So that's what I meant. But I'm not against them either, at all. But I guess it's not so much cliffhangers. My problem is more when you look at what Falcom has been releasing the last few years, even Ys 8, like, it's so many depressing endings. I don't think I recall any Falcom game in recent times that had a not depressing ending. Honestly. I cannot remember a game by Falcom that doesn't have a depressing ending. In recent times, I mean. Oh, actually, never mind. No. There is one.
I wouldn't have said it like that.
Tokyo
Xanadu. Yeah, but I don't think it's that much depressing that you would say, but yeah.
The tone, I mean the tone, like when you finish the game, the way you feel, the way it makes you feel, like do you feel super happy, like, oh man, this story is finished, I feel great now? No. When I finish a Falcom game, I feel miserable.
Sort of.
You know what I mean? Like Falcom loves to toy with the players, so that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I kind of want a change for once. Just a thought. Just a thought. But yeah, jokes aside, I think it's, I love those series, and I would definitely say that this is my favorite, series of all time personally. So that's yeah. I'm just messing around. But yeah, I think that's enough about Century, right? Would you say that we said enough, or anything to add?
Not really.
Yeah, I think it's a good. We pretty much gave everything we had in terms of our feelings about the game. So
Yeah, but if we had to explain more, we would have to go into spoilers field.
yeah, that's the
And
problem. That's the
yeah,
problem. So we cannot go into what actually happens and all that stuff, unfortunately. But I mean, if someone wants us to, I will be glad to dedicate an episode about that. But if not, then we'll just stick with that. So yeah, I guess let's go to the meat and potatoes now. Sen 4. I guess I was expecting more news lately. I'm a bit disappointed.
I think today, as of Tuesday, April 10, there was something to be expected at Dengeki, but Sen 4 wasn't featured in this, so there wasn't anything about Sen 4. So I think it will be in 2 weeks,
2 weeks
if
time.
I recall correctly.
Yeah.
2 weeks from here.
So far, like at the recording of this episode, we only know about the return of the new characters, I guess, the newer subcast and how they look like. Basically, we know that Crossbell, like Crossbell characters are coming back.
Yeah, are coming back, and I think it's probably safe to say that most of them will be back.
Yeah. Also, I'm expecting to see perhaps more Trails in the Sky characters, more Sora and Kiseki, because we saw Ren, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw, wink wink, maybe I'm completely wrong, but since Ren is there, I would think it's weird to not have, I don't know if I can say it or not, but to not have those characters would be weird, considering the context, but I don't know. Maybe there's an explanation, but if she's there, then there's no reason for the other two to not be there. That's what I will say.
Yeah.
So, now that's out of the way, there's not much to say really right now. The game is 5 months away already. Wow, time flies.
Yeah, it's 5 months away from here, and it's been half a year since Sen 3 was released.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane. We already reached a third of the year now. Holy crap! I mean,
Sen 4 incoming soon.
I cannot wait. I think we're gonna do like last year. We have to get the special edition and all that stuff, right? That has to happen. I hope.
Yeah, I'll try something.
I'm hoping to. For us, I think Falcom changed their international sales. I don't know how it works, but I heard that it changed. So I don't know if you heard anything about that, but maybe it's easier for us to buy on Falcom now.
I didn't try, but I heard that they changed the way they handle international stuff.
Because I want PayPal.
There was a change in their site about this, and Fluffy even talked about the changes.
Yeah.
I think she has a tutorial.
Yeah, OMG Fluffy. I need to read that because I really want to be able to buy stuff by myself and not ask for help. But I only use PayPal, so we'll have to see. I wish Falcom would use PayPal. That would be so much easier. Oh man, so much easier. I just don't feel comfortable giving a credit card number by email, and I just don't like it. No. But hopefully we get. Also, I want more merchandise. Hopefully I can actually buy an iPhone case this time, because every time I want to buy one, it's like, nope, it's sold out.
But you're not even using an iPhone.
No, but I will soon. Yeah, I did buy a smartphone cover though, as you know, Sen no Kiseki smartphone cover. But it's big and bulky, but I like it. But it's not, like the font constantly drops, like it doesn't really stay in place, but it's not supposed to be like a permanent thing. It's more like a wallet, so whatever. But I like it. But yeah, I just want to be able to buy an iPhone case in time for when I buy one. I'm actually not buying an iPhone because I want to, but just because the visual accessibility features are better for legally blind people, I guess. So yeah, but that's another story. Oh man. Hopefully they have some nice limited edition to purchase. I would love I would love a like a good way to, I guess, go out with a bang, because there's not going to be any Kiseki game in a while after that, I would imagine, at least, because Falcom is probably gonna want to take a break, maybe like release another game, or attack a different project. That's what I would imagine anyway. I don't know. After Sen 4.
Yeah, probably. So maybe next Kiseki game will be like 3 or 4 years away.
Yeah, I would imagine, but we'll see, of course. But because I guess Tokyo Xanadu needs a sequel. We all know it's gonna happen. So yeah. But aside from that,
Tokyo is on fire.
Yeah, indeed, Tokyo is on fire. Insert Eurobeat. Speaking of that, I haven't tried to plug my wheel in the console since in the Kiseki III. I should, just for with a bike. That's just so great. Playing Sen no Kiseki with a steering wheel, the greatest idea.
Yeah, watch our previous project we did.
Yeah, we did upload that video on my channel. It's pretty fun. Actually, I think it's been almost a year since we've done that. Like maybe 11 months. No?
Yeah, that's basically that, because we're in April, and I visited in mid-May and beginning of June.
And that's
so
insane.
Yeah, almost a year.
It's insane how time flies. That's just wow.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I even had the time to have kids and stuff. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, just kidding. Yeah, I would say the same thing. No, it's just crazy when you think about it. Now that I guess when you're in your 20s, just time flies by, and it's even worse in your 30s and so on. Makes sense. The older you get, the shorter time seems. Like your vision of time, I suppose.
Yeah, let's say it like that, because perception of time. Yeah, because you have so much. Let's say you have so much things you want to do, and you think so little time to do them. So
yeah, exactly.
So it's something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we sort of digress.
Yeah, we digress. But yeah, when it comes to Sen 4 news, unfortunately there is not too much to talk about, but we will, you trust us, we will talk about it as the information comes in, because so far there's not that much to say, right?
Yeah,
so
not much to say, and they didn't even reveal a lot. They just said that, yeah, we're into it, and we show some. We show some visual that
we will show the visual that was shown.
Yeah.
Also, I will add something that I learned with experience. Maybe everybody knows this, but I sure didn't. Never trust Falcom on CGs. Like if they show the CGs of the next game, it's like 99.9999% chance it's not gonna be in the game. Like yes, the characters are, but the scene itself is not in the game. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's just for promotion, of course.
They show some made-up scenes, because the last time I saw like Sen 3 pictures when I was back at the hospital last year, I was like expecting those things to be happening in the game, and that was not the case. So yeah, just you have to take everything with a grain of salt, like they say.
Yeah, they tease something will happen, but it won't be
that scene in particular.
It won't be showed in game as you saw.
Yeah, the thing is they even sometimes show like text boxes of dialogue, but it's actually dialogue that doesn't happen in the game, which is amazing.
Maybe it's early project that they drop while in
perhaps
development.
Scenes they worked on and dropped, or something like that. Who knows? But in any case. That's something to keep in mind. Aside from that, I'm waiting. We're just waiting. We'll be waiting, and eagerly waiting. I would even say.
I wait for you.
Speaking of waiting,
if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah. Speaking of waiting, I'm still waiting for the colored version of the Alisa figure.
I don't think I saw any prototype. I saw it coming back in some screen, but I didn't see any details.
Yeah.
I didn't even look for it, but yeah, I saw it dropping by in some pictures, but not much. I didn't look further.
Yeah, as soon as it's on pre-order, I will jump on it. But so far, nothing on the radar as far as news.
Yeah, I'll probably get it since I got my paycheck.
Yeah, same. I'll just keep some money on the side just so I can pre-order. It's not gonna come in the near future anyway. I would expect a few months before we can actually buy it. Because we haven't even seen the prototype in color, so I wouldn't know.
You didn't even know it, but it's already out.
Oh! No, we would have seen the figure by then. But yeah, I'm waiting to see the colored version because we only saw like the what do you call it?
You don't know it, but I already own it.
Yeah, hopefully Ami is gonna sell it just so I don't have to import with Karani or whatever. I mean, if I have to, I will, but it's always a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, Falcom stuff is always difficult to get.
But let's say we are proud to have some stuff.
Oh yeah. I think it's already a bloody miracle we're even getting like a full-size figure. I mean, it's been like how many years since Falcom released anything? And even so, like the last figures they released, like the full-size figures were not very good. Let's put it that way. I mean, yeah, the Nendoroids is something else, but we did get some Nendos, but not full-size figures like that, so yeah, that's great. But anyway, I digress. So I guess that is the end of this episode, and in the coming weeks, maybe like I guess we will try to put out one episode every month if possible. We cannot really like guarantee it, but we will regularly put out an episode with different topics. We do have different topics to talk about anyway. There's not just Kiseki, but other Falcom games to talk about, of course.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. This episode was brought to you by the Falcom Racing team.
Again.
Go check out the link. I'll put a link in the description below.
Yeah.
and thanks for watching. So we'll leave you there and hope you have a good one.
See ya.
See ya.
戦えファルコム長ザナゾーの正義のために決めポーズよゴーファイト民主主義